पार्टिसिपेट की नारे
तेरा कैंडीज आ गए ना यार।
अच्छा वो
प्रोड्यूसर कौन है वो? नहीं सर।
सुनाइए।
करें सर बोलेंगे पहले।
पार्टिसिपेट की नारे
Police sir, can we start?
अच्छा वो
Yes sir, we can start. If the participants are ready, we can start. Okay. We can start. Another 5 minutes now, the participant will be joining. More participants will be joining. Okay sir. Okay.
पुलिस सर।
Dheeraj, can we start? सुनाइए। Dheeraj.
यस सर।
Can we start? Share now.
Yes sir.
हाँ सर शेयर।
Start sir.
Okay.
सर बोलेंगे पहले।
Very good afternoon, all of you. I am Dr. Shivraj, Chief Librarian, Manipal University, Jaipur. On behalf of the Central Library, Manipal University, Jaipur, on my own behalf, I welcome you all to the one-day national workshop on establishing institutional repositories using DSpace CRIS on cloud. I welcome Dr. Puneet Gupta, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer and Communication Engineering, Manipal University, Jaipur. And also welcome all the participants to this program. About the Manipal University, Jaipur.
Police sir, can we
The
start?
Manipal Education Group
Yes sir,
is an established leader in the field of education,
we can start.
research and
We can start.
healthcare.
Another
In
5
a
minutes
span
now,
of
the
over
participants
6
will be joining.
decades,
More participants will be
it has
joining.
transformed the lives of more than 3 lakh students from Yes, there are other softwares, but eventually when I will be showcasing you the DSpace features, then you will automatically decide why DSpace. So my DSpace libraries can be used by department, lab, research centers, and schools to manage their metadata resources.
Yes, there are other softwares,
And
but
data sets.
eventually when I show will
Data, our basic need is for data collection and sharing to the community of our users that may be scholars, faculty members, staffs, the labs, research labs, that those who are interested in our resources. So previously it used to be a local repository for our students itself. Now we have moved upon to a efficient manner to organize our library. So if I talk about basic DSpace, so let me showcase you a basic DSpace and then we'll proceed why to improve our DSpace libraries and why Google. So as you can see, this is a basic DSpace user portal for Thapar University, and we have established it. So it's a basic simple need. So here's you have recent publishing and your categorization out here. Fine. But this is simply data hosting. This DSpace library is meant for hosting data, not for the usage. For the usage in terms of it can only host data and categorize data for the user. It's simply hosting. But what if I give you a other end? For example, if I move on to a specific thing. So these are collection communities. So if I'm talking about an individual article in a library, let me showcase you, you will find some of the data is missing in the current need of generation where everyone wants to know two things. What are those two things? How many views are being there for this data library? For example, if I'm hosting a data library thesis, so before going into the resource, everyone wants to know the quality of the resource. Quality of resource in the terms of how many resources has been accessed, how they are being accessed. For example, if I'm looking into this one, first article which is listed here. So here only details are listed here. Okay, but if I showcase some other information that is the metadata about it, let me showcase you the other information. So this, if this is CRIS, it seems like the similar one. But what about this? If you can showcase the number of views and directly link to the journal or the source where it has been picked up, and the metadata will migrate from Google Scholar to your portal, that's a other benefit. That is a simple journal, but what about this other downloads? So now you can see views, downloads, and Google Scholars. So this is what the upper advantage that you will be getting if we use a level of one step further than a normal DSpace library. So moving further, so I will be showcasing our own DSpace library of Manipal University Jaipur and moving further. So moving on, so I've showcased you a small DSpace library which has a collections, a good quality of managed resources. But what if we can attract and provide more metadata about the resources, and as a library person or as a library resource person, you may have an eye what are the resources being used more eventually the users are interested in, so that we can increase our library power and library resources in terms of what the interest of your library clients are or users are. So if we are talking about extended version, this is what LRC for Manipal University look like, which has a wide
वो बंद कर
level
देना
of
भाई
collections, which can
दूसरी
be
चीज चला रहा
e-resources
हूँ
in
बंद
terms of
कर
e-journals. We have thesis, dissertation, MTech, BTech, and PhD theses being hosted here, connected to Shod Ganga. And we have publication, books, articles, magazines, and other resources being hosted in the publication article section. So this is how an advanced version look like. But if we look into this part, now here the advantage is coming, upper hand, the upper hand of a simple DSpace over DSpace series. So here DSpace series allows you to evaluate the quality of the resource. So if this resource is an article which has complete details out here, so we can look here what is the scope of citation, where, does it have Web of Science, how many page views are there, downloads, and if we wish like, we can directly connect to a data library also, or you can say a digital resource or journal database also. So this is how a DSpace service works in behind the scene, collecting lots of metadata for your journal over www, or you can say world wide web. It searches over the internet and finds n type of data. What is your citation, how the website, how the resources are being used over your DSpace library or data library. So these features looks, so this is at the user end, this is just the beginning at the user end. So if I'm taking into consideration, this is my simple data library where I've also taken, I've given an example of exam papers. So now here we have increased our library into upper hand, that is exam papers, full publications, thesis, and news clipping with reports, and down below are citations. Now here, most viewed. Now this is upper hand. If you are using DSpace, it won't give you such functionality, but if you are using DSpace series, then you have functionality of counting and number of visitors you can look upon. So this is a live view of the actual website. And now, so if I want to know about this article, what from where the visitors are coming, so I can look upon this. The visitors are coming from all over the world, and the views are coming from Asia, North America, Europe, Africa, and plenty other zones or continents that are being listed in my database. So this is one of the best feature where, as a resource person who is hosting this resource, should be interested in that from where my clients are interested in and what are the resources that viewers are interested in. So this is about the view count. So who is downloading it? So this is what, after viewing, the conversion ratio to the download resources. So here if we are talking about taking into care which resource is used and viewed, and that is, if it is viewed, that means viewers are more interested in such type of resources. For example, if it is PhD thesis or MTech thesis or BTech thesis or any article which is attracting more number of viewers, in that case you will know and the software will intimate you about the configuration. So if I'm talking about the collaborations, so this is one of the feature. If I'm talking of moving on to the hosting domain to the research domain, academic resource domain to research domain. In your research domain, now it collects everyone. So if my faculty which has been listed on my software is connecting to n number of collaborators over the world, so now it gives me the collaboration graph where a person has been collaborating with n number of collaborators or researchers over its research articles, books. So this is one of the view which allows you to look into this sort of data set also. First of all, after DSpace, so one of first of the add-on. So now I'm talking about add-ons over DSpace, simple DSpace. So first add-on is you can manage your own library plus departmental functionalities also. Something like I can maintain the department profile, that maybe is head of the department, director, dean. So as I say, this is network lab. So network lab means the networking between the resource person between this. So here you can categorize all the resources, all the research publications based on departments also. That means if you click on this publication part, you will get only those publications which are being published by your faculty or the resource person in your department. So that's categorization, clubbing, gathering the data, all the working functionalities are being done by your DSpace series. And this is what everyone is interested in, department wise scorecard. So everyone is interested in biometric, that what is current score of my departmental profile. I can look upon into the university profile, then school profile, and schools have departments, so I can look upon those department profiles also. And then publications, so automatically this categorization has been done, and you can filter them out based upon your years, based upon your month, and you can convert those data. Most important part is this: you can host and retrieve that data or send an email this data in a various form and note form, BibTeX, reference, Excel, CSV, which may allow you to use this data in plenty other endeavors, and which may be interested that other departments may be interested in knowing all this data in at a regular interval of time. So this allows you to give by using simple DSpace, I can do such functionalities. Next, so if I am using such a huge data, for example, let me showcase you. Just look here, 6,000 exam papers to 2,260 publications, full text, and 1,852. These many, and these many data to be hosted and pushed inside DSpace. So if I'm talking about my older version of DSpace, in that case, this pushing of data or publishing data on DSpace is what's the most crucial issue in my DSpace. Now has been handled that automatically your data will be hosted and transferred, and all the information about your data. For example, if I wish to include my publication, you just need to give the PubMed ID. All other data, the author's data, the title, the journal name, the citation score, the matrices, the links, all will be imported within the DSpace for you. No one. So similarly, after PubMed ID, you can have DOID. From DOI, using Crossref, it can collect the majority of the data, something like author details, journal name, issue, volume, and all the publicly available data can be gathered in a single click. If I'm talking about Scopus, yes, if you have a Scopus subscription on your academic institute platform, then in that case, you can also connect to the Scopus and you can gather it, similar to WebOps. The free versions are PubMed ID, DOI, ORCID, and RWIS. So all these platforms automatically gather the data for you and pushes them into DSpace and collects them. You need not do anything. Only thing is, if the author name is X and the author name is found in Department of Biology, so automatically the mapping will be done for you. So after this, if I'm talking about you're casting your data in a plenty other manner, so here is some of the example where an API which has been added on to DSpace library, which can be on or off whenever required. So here, whenever a visitor comes, you know which location he is coming from. So based on that, you can map the data. You can use grid format, you can use graph format, or a simple Google Map format to map the location of the resource or the viewers of a specific resource of a specific collection type. For example, I want to know only from the viewers above the PhD thesis. So in that case, you can look upon this part only. And that's the most important part. And I can filter them out. Various filters are there. And moreover, I can share this data with other persons also using email. You can download it using CSV and other features. So this is what a DSpace is. So DSpace is a club of plus 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 DSpace plus certain functionality. So viewers are looking to DSpace where you can load n type of data at the backend. So if I'm talking about an architecture of DSpace, so just look into this architecture. So DSpace API is still there. DSpace UI is also still there. Only thing is add-on to the package is DSpace CRIS UI package, that is user interface package for the profile management of the department and the university level. DSpace CRIS API for gathering and distributing the data, scattering the data for each and every category, that may be PhD thesis, exam papers, and plenty other resources, e-resources that you have used upon. So if I'm going back, so DSpace has add-on to. So previously DSpace was only hosting of resources. Now we have add-on to publications. Now you can also host resources in terms of research articles that are directly linked to the publisher website. Previously it was not so. Now if you know the DOI, DSpace will directly link upon your complete publication data to whatsoever freely available open source publisher websites are. So this is what the important is, that we need not push the complete data. We need to just push the unique ID. Okay. So I have to just push into the unique ID of publication and other metadata. So I need not gather it first of all. If someone knows this is my unique DOI ID or ISBN number of the book, in that case just you need to give that ISBN number and you can host and you can gather all data. Because if I'm talking data library, it is a combination of two things: publishing data plus managing data, and then finally hosting it. And after hosting, view. You need to have a view of the data, whether who are my users and what sort of data is being more viewed by the users. Based on that, you can plan it so that you can increase which category of data is more attractive to my viewers, something like it most useful to my users for my library. So it is something like, and plus to a publication, you can also manage people, organizations, projects in terms of funding projects. So rather than hosting a simple PDF file which has the information, now you can host each and every information about the funded project on your website. Even if you want to hide it, in that case, the local servers will be, or the local individual person who has a credential of the departments can access it. So credential management is also one of the feature which has been added to this. So that comes up or sums up to better interaction, reputation, and dissemination. Dissemination in terms of, now you can plan what I should or what category I should add on to my library so that it can benefit my users. That may be my research scholars, that may be my BTech scholars, or my faculty members. So this is one of the feature, because if I'm using DSpace in general, yes, it's a hosting, but you could not identify, or the user could not identify what is the resource which is more useful. Okay, because if I'm searching a website also, we look into how many views or how many downloads are there. Similarly, you can, your data library will be helpful for the users, where he can find it out the correct resource in a quick interval of time. So this is a complete gathering. So here is my university, which is a combination of n number of schools where n number of resource persons are there. So here is my data library, which is connected to cloud and other digital repositories also. So this is a collaboratives, resources, schedule, calendars, plan your business, other projects and project collaborators. So here you are integrating all the things all together in a single platform, and that is add-on, that you need not push all the data automatically, and it is what we say is harvesting. The DSpace library is something what CRIS is all about, harvesting data from www or a global internet, so that the quality of the metadata can be improved and user may decide which data to be looked upon. So here's our thing. So we are using clubbing of REST API, CRIS API, Angular API for better view, and Angular CRIS UI. This is what we are looking into for CRIS functionality, and it is a project of 4 science. Now I've just given an overview of free version. That means DSpace CRIS is a free and open source project plus some plugins are available. For example, you want that all the resources that are in PDF version or dataset, the user can view it online rather than downloading it first so that your bandwidth is reduced. So in that case, you can plug in a PDF viewer, that is a paid version, your online dataset viewer, so it can allow you to open CSV files, plus Word file viewer, so you can add, so no one has to download the Word file at once. He can look and preview the files at single glance. And moreover, if you are uploading images of the events and other reports, the user can view it. So moving on to the downloading part. So moving on to the downloading part, in that case, installing part. So in installation, so if I'm moving on to the installation, I will just add few things that. So for DSpace installation, now we'll start the steps. So since we want two things in our system, we want our DSpace and some additional modules, that is publication. Second is organization management. And what we will get in free is, at the other hand, the data analysis. So automatically you look into, you have publications here, you have organization of resource here. And why this? Because if I'm pushing data about publication, the distribution is very much necessary. So for example, if we are talking on books published by or the conference proceedings, we need to tag them which department they are from. So we are talking about organization. So it will be an organization unit also where you can track upon and keep a track where everyone is collaborating together for your organization. So next is analysis can be for two things. For admin, so I will showcase you what admin can do out of analysis as I've seen, and for users. For users, most visited, latest update, latestly added few functionality. For example, if I wish to know that what is the resource which has been updated. For example, I'm looking upon PhD thesis, so I need not search upon which PhD thesis has been added recently. On the front page itself, you can find, the user can find which PhD thesis has been recently completed and PhD published, and for admin. So these two functionalities is a basic add-on and best part. Now coming for the manager, this is what a user may look like. Okay, but what about the manager? Manager in terms who is trying to push lots of data. So it will take, let's say, if I'm talking about conventional DSpace, if I'm talking about pushing 6,000 articles, so that may take time around a month or 2 months with all the metadata to be pushed inside it. But in DSpace, Manager has one more benefit, that it can push bulk in bulk. So you just need to generate a CSV file and you can say push in bulk and your work will be done. And that's what we'll be trying today. So just let me first, I will give you a live glimpse about all the analysis, the organization features, the bulk feature, okay, migration. If you do have DSpace in currently running, you can migrate from DSpace to DSpace series. And just, you can say, if you have 60,000 resources, establishment will take half an hour, but resource transfer may take 1 day or few hours for transferring from DSpace to DSpace series. But this block diagram explains everything about it. So let's look upon a DSpace which is running CRIS, which has been migrated recently, and what are the basic advantages over it? So if I'm looking upon here, so first thing is the menu is changed. In previous one, if I'm looking upon a simple DSpace library, you will just find home, browser based on community, and the categories files, nothing else. So here some introduction and view and some metadata about here. So other than this, if I wish to find more into this data, so I can look here. This is what the look is. So if I'm talking about categorization, here the user can categorize the data. Here annual reports, newsletters, and automatically this counter need not to be reset. The best part is as you move on or add on to these research groups, automatically these counters are being established. Thesis, report, PhD, migration. So automatically a person may look upon here. News clippings, or you can name it as let's say e-journals. Here the counters and views are the recently submitted articles which are recently introduced can be looked upon. So let me show you one more thing. Research output for the users. So he can look into discovery about departments and plenty other things. Okay, by author. So by author, who's if you are searching for an author name, you can search upon those. If I'm talking about as a university level, so here about the university, you can introduce department. This is what I was talking about organization. So here the organizations have been added. If I'm looking upon, let's say, one of the departments, just find it out. So here the department basic knowledge is being given. If I'm talking of publications, so here, so you can list here. Now the download menu is not here because you are not the admin, but you can look upon this. Now I'm moving on to next thing. That is, if I'm clicking on the client or one of the research person. So this is what the indicator is. Here I can think about other data. Yes, and network lab I can view. He will be generating the collaborators. Okay, so here I've got a view that how. So these are names just here Garera, Patel, and all the. So this is just level of collaboration being done here, which can be filtered out one, two, more here. So how vast your collaboration is, a person may also know. If we are talking about view statistics, so this is what live data would be. The most of the views are coming from this location and North America, Asia specific. Then if I'm talking about country specific, the country names are here. You can download it and move further. And city wise, you can get the data from New Delhi and other things. So this is what one. If I'm looking at a user view. Okay. So this is again domain of the user. So if I'm going back to my department, so at a department level, you can search upon people as if you are searching on a website. Similarly, you can search upon the collaborators who have collaborated in terms of research or book chapter or thesis. So who is doing this? You need not push all the data one by one, which is a rigorous process. Here you need to just configure it once. The collaborator and the other things will be done by the research persons, resource persons. All these things will be the you can gather who is connecting this peak casing to this peak casing. Automatically, this is done by your CRIS. So analysis part will be done by your CRIS here. So projects, people's basic information. You can push lots of information here, which has been allowed. So if I'm moving on to IT department, sorry, bioinformatics, I can talk about publications. These are publications. You can sort it up by years and gather the data here and furthermore. So if I'm going upon annual report, this menu can be customized and further. So if I'm talking about this is what the client will look upon or the user view will be, and the user can easily decide what to view and what not to view. If I'm talking about this article, so here the article name was given, book name was given, and furthermore, so here the views are, downloads are here. And if I'm clicking on Google Scholar, you can directly be switched upon that. For example, if this is here, and if I'm clicking on this, automatically the publisher or the database has been added to this. So it depends upon how vast your data is and how you are hosting your data. So connecting this data to your viewer is not your responsibility. It will be responsibility of the data library to automatically connect to you. So for example, if I'm looking upon any one of the paper, let's say this one, 2018. So currently no one has viewed it, but Google Scholar can still find it out for you. Okay, so this is how a person made link. So this linkage is very much necessary because you are hosting the metadata about your resource persons and the researchers. Now they can directly jump on and if you wish to resource it. So you need not host each and every PDF file, but they can switch to which journal and other data quickly over this. So coming back to my last features, and then I will start with my hosting and how to host. So I will just here I will showcase you few things that you may admire that the service may provide you statistics as an admin feature. So here you are seeing as an overview of a not a single overview of a single instance. This is an overview of whole data library. I'm not viewing a statistics of a single resource, but I'm looking upon it as a whole. So here the country and other things have been mapped here: region, country wise, city wise, item wise. So here item wise. So this resource has been viewed more, and other resources which are being used and viewed by the user. So based on that, you can make decisions how to improve your data library and what sort of resources may be pushed upon. Based on categories, now articles, dataset, books, book chapter, presentations, theses, and those you can also find. Now, if I'm looking upon previously, if I am not the admin, I'm looking upon this one. Previously, it was only showcasing me this links. Now, if I'm talking about showing me full record. Just, so now you can see this other things also. Fine. So let's move on to the how to establish our own similar functionalities or similar data set or similar website on our own on a cloud platform. So I'll be using Google Cloud. So I'm just providing you some specifications which are must and which are required before we move on to the few things. I will be sharing the complete details how the installation steps will be there and all the details at the end of this workshop. So need not worry, you need not copy all the things. I will be providing the complete resource and the steps. So first we require is cloud platform. So that can be Google, Amazon, Azure, or any third party. Amazon or any third party where we can get certain resources or infrastructure here. If I'm talking of on cloud platform, what we need to get, a machine with at least this configuration, that is 8 to 16 GB of RAM and second 4 plus cores of processor. Third, at least 20 40 to 40 GB to 100 GB of storage. You may be gradually increasing your storage power and number of resources you are hosting. In that case, you may be hosting at least this. But for today's purpose, we'll be using 20 GB of resources, and that is also plenty more too much of resource. We require only at least 15 GB, 10 to 15 GB of resource to be hosted. Now the operating system can be Windows / Ubuntu, and that is menu 16 plus version, that is 16 and upper grade versions. So today we'll be talking about Ubuntu, and then we'll move on to installation. Now this whole process, why we are talking about these many providers, because these are some of the cheapest resource providers in terms of this. If I'm talking about Google, it will provides you a VM over a cost of only 20,000, 20K yearly. So that means your running cost of this complete DSpace will be 20,000 yearly, okay, rather than getting a vendor who is providing you resources. But this is what, but as I've given third party, you may get a cheaper version of 15K yearly, and you can maintain your resource on a. But next, moving on to next thing. So the steps that we need to follow for installation online, that is step one. Set up a environment or operating system slash set up an operating system. If my Google Cloud has been set up, then we can move on to the installation of operating system will automatically come. So its first is Google Cloud Platform. So we need to just start with the cloud platform and increase our resource person. Second is environment, and third comes the installation. Installation may take half an hour, not more than that. In half an hour, we can establish our own DSpace library, and in a period of 1 hour, you can install both DSpace and DSpace CRIS at a single go of time. Best part is the uptime of your resource will be high. It can handle large number of viewers at the same point of time. So we'll start with the cloud, and in our case, we'll be using Google Cloud because it provides 3 month completely free VMs or virtual machines, which you can also test on a credit of 1 rupee. They can give you a 3 month resource that too free. So we'll be using Google Cloud in that case. And then further, as the rate says, you can also assess. I will provide you the link where you can see how much they will cost for a specific resource. OS environment will be free of cost. Even if you purchase also, the operating system need not to be purchased from Google. And last is installer, since it is a DSpace, so it's an open source platform. Even your DSpace list is an open source until unless you are including any extra platforms or extra resources out here. So starting with the Google Cloud, so we'll be first creating our own Google virtual machine, that we say machine, and then installing the VM resources. So moving on to the Google platform. So your first step will be installing a Google platform or getting into Google Cloud. Let me start with my installation part. So you need to search upon Google VM or Google Cloud. So it will automatically jump to your this Google virtual machine, and here is a Google virtual machine. So if you are new to this, you just need to use your Google account and jump to Google Cloud, and it will ask a subscription of 1 rupee. So I've done it for myself using my debit card, and that 1 rupee will be refunded after few hours. That few hours may depend from 10 to 12 hours, but that 1 rupee will also be refunded after verification. You can reuse your debit card with your different Gmail ID if your 3 month has been expired. In that case, you may get.
Yes.
So this is my Google Cloud platform. So if you are new, it will give you a pop-up at the top. Verify yourself using credentials. So you can ask for 1 rupee transaction, and then they will get you back the 1 rupee transaction after a month. So if I'm talking in the starting phase, I'm going to a home and I'm showcasing your what they will provide me in the free of cost. So this is my dashboard, which these many functionalities can be provided. Okay, currently my billing is 0. Okay, so what are the benefits? Let me showcase you that I have received from free of cost, and that will, so credits, let me show you my credits. So this is what they are costing me, but currently I do have $300 account which they have provided me, and I can look upon those. So if you want to look upon pricing, so here are the pricing details, and you can configure your own virtual machine, what the details will be. So let's jump to my current virtual machine. So here in cloud section, you need to jump to computing engine. Okay, so there are n number of things which are hosted by this engine. So I need to go to compute engine. In compute engine section, go to VM instance. Okay, so you can go upon disk for purchasing or hard disk if you are going upon GPU purchase. There are plenty of other things you can go upon. We'll look upon a few features later on in when the workshop process. So going into VM instance. So here I have created two DSpace and DSpace series. So I will create a new instance for you. So this is what I am creating a new machine. As if you are creating purchase a laptop of 8 GB RAM, I can simply purchasing a machine out here. So creating a new machine. So let's name it new DSpace. New DSpace. Everything has to be in small case. So here you can look upon key data surface, where the VM your machine will be running, whether it will be running in Hong Kong, Tokyo, Mumbai, where you wish your machine will be running. I by default I keep this setting which is saying LOA. It is given by Google, which provides you a suitable platform on its own at the first priority, whereas the other options are depending upon you. So now here it shows you have these many credentials. Out of these credentials, I have used 500 rupees, but these many credentials have been given to you for 3 months. Okay, so my estimate currently of running DSpace is $24 per month. Okay, so that's the cheapest way to run a DSpace and make your library a data library at a lowest cost and highest performance. So as I said, it requires 8 GB of RAM. So it says 2 CPU and 4 GB RAM memory. So I'll switch on to this one with 2 CPU and 8 GB of memory. If I'm moving on to 4 CPU, it will give me 6 GB. So the costing table is somewhat different. So if I'm talking about the costing, let me showcase you. Calculator. So you just need to type upon calculator. So it's a part of your Google Cloud itself. So here you can look upon how to test and what the running cost of your machine will be. Because these are high performance machines, so there's no chance or zero probability of downtime failure. So in this case, let me name I'm using ABC, and I'm a regular user which will use Debian, or I will be using Ubuntu. So it says send Ubuntu, which your version. These are all free versions which are available, free operating system. So machine class is regular. I don't want high performance machine, and I will be E2. Now here is the most important part. I'm turning upon 8 GB RAM and 32 GB memory. So I am talking about 4 GB and 16 GB. You can move on to high performance also. This will cost you a bit higher, and this is the resource, and I'm seeing 24 hours uptime per day. Fine. So now you can look upon the cost is, so few things are to be defined here. I want one public IP, one static IP, and customer usage 1 year. I'm estimating it for 1 year. compute optimized. Oops. So here it will give you a triple number of instances is 1. So I want 1 instance. Now you can estimate it. So it will give you the cost in USD. I want it INR. So it is this 1500 per month. Okay, that is not more than 12,000 a month yearly. So this is what the cost is. But what if I'm increasing, since the data library is all about including resources, when I estimated 20,000, that is for at least 20 TB of resources. So if I'm including more storage, the cost will increase, but this is the most cheapest way to execute your cost memory. So if I'm moving on to my platform, so I've taken an 8 GB of memory, and I will change, which is in general saying Linux 10, I will change it to Ubuntu, which is most friendly environment which is currently available in operating systems. So I will take upon Ubuntu. If you are taking upon Windows, you will have to pay for the license of Windows. So in that case, your cost may go higher, but Ubuntu will be using standard present disk, and then select and allow access here, allow traffic from HTTP and HTTPS. So my users may be coming from any one of this environment. So these are managers which I won't look upon. This is all managed by my Google. So if I am clicking on create, so it will create a VM for me. And this is where my VM will look upon. So as soon as it is running, you will get a green signal out here, and you can start. So new DSpace is running. Now in this period of time, your Ubuntu is also installed, and this is your public IP that. So your public IP is also given to you. This is an external IP, this is internal IP. You are interested in this IP. Now you have installed your Ubuntu, and then you are processing further. So if I call upon this DSpace series, which I have installed in morning in half an hour. So let me showcase how to call upon. So this is my IP. So I will just click this IP. My IP is 8080 is my Apache server name, and then JSP UI. Okay, this is down. So this is how we run it. So let's start with the. Now we have to discuss what are various modules we need to install in this DSpace. So let's move on to that part. So modules. So now we are at the third level that we need to install an open source platform out here, and then we'll install it. So here there are 3 steps. First, so I will just name it in 3 different modules which need to be configured here. First is database. Second, your DSpace need to be compiled, because the vendor will provide you the core version and the uncompiled code which need to be compiled on your machine. And then the third thing is hosting on Apache server. Okay, so now you will be hosting it on an Apache server. So installation of these three things are most important. For DSpace compilation and plus installation, we require two things, that is Oven and ANT. So we are not interested in this because the steps will cover how to install these two softwares also. But these softwares will be required only while your compilation and installation process. Then further for hosting and further running of your machine, this steps won't be required further. So if I'm talking about the first step starts with basic installation. What are the various components we need to be installed in our DSpace? So, so let's make a list for all these things which we need to download. So if I'm talking about how to use this machine, just click on SSH. A window will pop out. So it says proxy. So as the machine is on, so it will give you a command line prompt, and this is what your machine will look like. So So first thing we need to move upon is installation. So before moving on to installation, we need to first check whether this version of operating system that we have received is in updated version or not. So if it is an upgraded version or it needs some updates, we need to look into that also. So starting with the installation. So first step for the installation will be upgrading your DSpace, upgrading your operating system. So for that, in that case, we will start with the first step, that is going into the root session. That is currently your window or the window that you are looking is in user is Vim Cloud Sim, with which I have registered myself, and I want to go into the root domain, something like admin for installing software. So I will say sudo su, and it will get me into root. That is the admin for you. So in this, I will first update my So sudo and apt update and sudo apt while. So it will allow you to update your operating system. So here it is checking and updating your operating system. It may take few seconds and it is updating your operating system and with all the packages which are not updated. So your system will be at the uh, updated level and all the packages and all the prerequisite softwares are updated here. Now we need to have three things, that is Java, your database is PostSQL and and Marvel. So I'm just the steps that I'm using will be given to you in a Word file. I'm also using that Word file. So I will be sharing that Word file which includes all the steps out here. So here I'll start with the installation part. Here are some steps. So here we have completed with our. So best part is here the network lag won't be there because you are using a high speed net over the Google Cloud. So here the packaging and updating will be very fast. So after this we need to configure. So after this step configured, first thing we need to do is configure our Java. That is a language to compile our code. Okay. And second thing we need to do is configure our database. In database, we'll be creating a project called DSpace and a user to access that DSpace. So that is the first step. So meanwhile, the installation process is under process. So let's look upon few more things that we need to discuss. So in this, first we'll be installing Java. So let's you note down few steps. So these are the prerequisite that we need to complete in our steps. So we have started with the installation part. So we are in the first step of installing JDK, PostSQL. So we'll be installing these two steps and then we'll be talking about DSpace software and then compiling using Apache and Empower and last is hosting it. So first step that we have done, I have used is updating my software and then installing it. So the steps are as follows. So I've just for your this the file I'll be sharing with you including all the steps. So step 1 and step 2 are given below. Now we are at the next level. So we need to first check before moving further that do there exist various version of Java or not, or there exists only one version of Java that I have installed. So to check whether whichsoever version of Java is available, I will check showcase using this command. We will look upon that whether the updated version is to be set default or the configured version need to be set as a default version. So here are all the libraries and all the steps are being installed. So let's move on to this one. So sudo, so these commands need not to be learned. You need to just use it as it is. So it will showcase me. So it is showing that you have two versions of Java, that is Java 11 and Java 8. For current release of DSpace that we are going to use, we will be using 8. So it says which version you need to set as a primary version. So I'm using it second, that is the third one. So I will be using Java 8 for my version. So I'm using this. So automatically, if I repeat this step, you will see the star has shifted to plus. So I just press enter. My work is done. So next is creating a DSpace project. Okay, that is DSpace library. So first, I for database something like MySQL and all other softwares, I will be looking into Postgres. So Postgres is a software which provides you SQL database. Okay, so you can use any other SQL database. So now I have moved on to from root to I have moved on to Postgres. So here I am into the database. Now I have to run a command to create database or create user. So first step is create user. What will be the name? DSpace. So here the Postgres minus u is a user. In which Postgres minus d minus a minus p. That means I am not giving username password currently. I'm just giving you the DSpace name. Okay. Press enter. Your password is asked. So I'm name. The password will also be the same as the name. DSpace in small case. DSpace. So I have typed it twice. Now work is done. So I have a DSpace user. Okay. And second is I have to create database. So both of the DSpace user and DSpace database both are being done in a single command. Now moving on to the next thing. We are at a third level that we need to check few commands. Few in what sense? Because in the file that the user at the developer end has used is somewhat encrypted, so we need to allow our machine to read that file. So in that case, so database will be encrypted. So I'm just going to this configuration file where this path will always remain the same for all the users. So I'm using this path, and something like in Notepad we have, in Windows we have, in Linux machine we have Nano and VI. So I'm using Nano, which is friendly nature editor. So enter. So it has opened the file for me. Okay. So it is a database configuration file where I'm just adding at the end of this file. I will be ending a command which allows all the database to read, allowed to read MD5 database. MD5 is an encryption platform. So it allows replica from this IP, all IP, but local database which is inside my DSpace project should also be allowed. Currently, local all Postgres projects were allowed. Now I want to allow DSpace, so I have allowed DSpace this. Now note down few things. Here you have to press Control X. Okay. So some of the steps are given below also. Control X for exit. Okay. For replace, save, Control O for space. So I will be pressing Control X. It will be asking me, do you wish to accept the changes? I say yes. Why? And press enter. Now the changes are being done. Now my database is ready for working and for supporting my DSpace project. So here I am restarting my project also. So here I can say services are restarting. There are three things: restart, start, and stop. So you can use this command either way if you want to stop the database server, start or restart. So all three steps are followed. Where PostgreSQL is a server name. So here the surname is defined. Now talking about the third step. Now we need to start with the database part. Sorry, the installation part. Since we are in root, so I need to create a user which has all the permissions similar to admin. Because I won't be giving my DSpace the admin password. I will be giving a third party password. So I'm creating a user called DSpace, and which has only privileges to work upon or change modification, allowing the to be made changes in only DSpace part. So here I have made DSpace. So I have to set the password for DSpace also, and the password will be the same as the name DSpace. Okay, so password DSpace. Okay, so here I have made. Now there will be two directories. First directory I will be compiling the DSpace, and second directory I will be compiling Apache software, Apache Tomcat for my server. Clear? So here I am making a directory called DSpace. So mkdir make directory DSpace. So as soon as you click it, you can say ls slash ds. So it gives me that you do have a dspace directory out here. Okay. So if I'm not known to this, cd is just plus cd slash the libraries. So in cd you have bin, boot, dev, dspace, etc. So these many folders are available, out of which my interest folder is dspace, which has been generated right now, which I have generated. So cd, I am going into the folder called dspace. So second thing is DSpace is a third-party user which has not been given the permissions to do read and write operation. So I'm just giving this command change mode from DSpace to DSpace. That means DSpace will be given a complete permission as if this folder. I'm talking about this folder. DSpace has been given the permission as a root, which is already DSpace. So this folder will have the permission. DSpace have the permission. I'm going to the folder called DSpace folder and modify any files inside this. So rather than giving applying admin file, second thing, DSpace is third-party user which has not been given the permissions to now do read and write operation. I'm creating. So now who has the permission to create the database? DSpace. So now I do have a user also. I do have the software for creating database. So now next command is create database. So I have created user in Postgres. I have allowed the user to write a file and write inside database. So here I am creating database minus u. Kiss user se? So DSpace is the user who is creating the DSpace, and the project name is DSpace. Okay. So Unicode is general code which to write a ASCII code which allows you to write a file. So here the database has been created. Okay. So next thing is now we need to restart the database, and I will move on to the few further steps. So I'm going to Postgres. As if I have given the MD5 in my file, that encryption will be my MD5. Now I am intimating my DSpace also that the encryption is allowed. So create extension PG crypto. So here the encryption will also be allowed. So DSpace Postgres also knows about the encryption, and DSpace, that is a user and the database, also knows about the encryption. So extension is created. So I have to just exit and restart. Whenever I'm making certain changes in the database, I'm just restarting it. So so this is etc/this. For Tomcat also I will be using the same thing. Rather than Postgres, I will be naming it as Tomcat, nothing else. So it remains the same for all type of. So I have to restart using Postgres. So I'm removing Tomcat. So it is restarted. That means the setting you have applied or the changes you have made have been applied. So now coming to DSpace installation, I have configured my database. My database is ready. So I have to configure my DSpace. So I'm making a folder called build. As if I have made a folder called DSpace, I'm making a folder called DSpace. Now there's a small topic that to be known, that DSpace folder is compulsory by default. In what directory? Root directory. Okay. So I've created mkdir DSpace. That means whenever or wherever I compile my DSpace, the installation process will automatically find the DSpace in the root folder and install it there. So currently this DSpace folder is blank, and the installer, whenever I'm downloading software in any folder and installing it DSpace from there, the whole installation process will copy all the files in this DSpace folder. So I'm not changing or I'm not meant to change any changes in DSpace, this will be done automatically by the installation process. So I made an empty DIS. So second is giving the permission, root permission to this folder. This is very important step that we need to call upon, that you need to give the root permissions at every level. ऐसा हो जाएगा नहीं तो कि admin permission है नहीं तो error will be you are not allowed or permission denied. So in this case, everywhere wherever you are creating new folders, you need to give the permissions. So let's move on inside the CD build folder /build. So now I am inside build folder. CD means change directory to build folder. So now I need to download that, which file? DSpace file. Fine. So in the first go, I'm showcasing you DSpace. So since I have downloaded it on my machine from the global store that is freely available, so I'll just select upload file from here and upload the DSpace from my machine. Yes. So I'm using DSpace 5 version, okay, and that is CRIS. I'm not using the normal version of my DSpace. So the steps for both of them will remain the same. The logic and the steps will always remain the same since this is a normal DSpace project. So meanwhile it is uploading, what I can do is I can install my Apache Tomcat so that half of the process will be completed. So as if it asks for, you need to again download what? You need to download Apache from Apache website and use it. So let me showcase you. So I'm jumping to my normal website and going to here and saying Apache Tomcat. So it will showcase me all the versions which are available for Apache Tomcat. So I'm just interested in Apache 9. Okay. So likewise, I can select which Apache I wish to download upon. So currently I'm interested in Apache 8. Okay. So whenever you are looking into DSpace series, it will ask for 7 and above version. So currently what we wish is to use the best version of here. So just copy the link location, that is a tar file. Okay. So see, for this, start with the process. That means in build folder, I'm copying my DSpace, and in OPT opt folder, I will be making my Apache folder. So I'm making mkdir sudo dir /opt. So this work is done. dir Okay, so it says, oh, I have already created before. So what I need to do is just install wget. From where it will get? It will get it from the link that I have copied. Okay, so link that I have copied, that is minor from Apache 9.59, and it is downloading for it for me. Okay, so it is downloaded. So let's see cd I'm seeing ls, so so here is my folder. Okay. So next step is to unzip this file. So for that there is a specific command which is predefined. So sudo tar, that is tar file, zvzf, that is for unzipping this file. And the unzip process starts. Okay, so it has unzipped. So if I'm seeing ls, so it has given me a folder here. Now this folder name need to be renamed as Tomcat. So meanwhile this is working, I will showcase your one more step that allows you to download. This is the first way that I uploaded the DSpace from my own folder or machine. Now I will allow you, showcase you to download the DSpace from web. cd/build, and that's done. So currently it has only rm, so it has nothing. So I will be downloading the DSpace into this. Okay, so from where? DSpace from web, rather than using DSpace from my own machine. So I'm just letting you download DSpace from web. So sudo wget and the URL that I will be providing. Okay, so you can also search upon. So it is downloaded, and if you say ls, you have this folder. So let's start with the first step. D. So again, it is a tar file, so you need to unzip that file also. So here the file will be rather than Apache Tomcat, the file is DSpace. So those the files are available here. So let's start with the first version of DSpace that we need to start with. So here the unzipping process starts. So unzipping is done. So now I can move on to starting the installation process. Before starting installation process, we need to make a few changes in the file. So I'm providing a path in which file, that is DSpace 6.3 src release. In API folder, there is a pom.xml that we need to change. In pom.xml, we need to find a third-party vendor and remove it, because we are not allowing the third-party vendor to update my file. So this or yes, org.codehorse.mojo. This is a plugin given by Marvin which allows DSpace to update itself automatically. So I don't want my DSpace to update itself automatically and migrate from 6 to 7 or 8 version. So what I do is I stop this migration and remove this plugin. Okay, nothing else. So I have to remove this plugin or small plugin. So what I have removed is from this plugin to next plugin, I have removed the whole content. So here is fine. Control X. Yes, my work is done. So after this, I have to just start with the installation part. That is, move on to my DSpace folder. That is, let's do ls. So it has two folders. One is tar file and one is DSpace folder. Let's say cd DSpace 6.3 release. So under this, you just need to give m Marvin which we have already installed. So now we have started with the compilation process mvn -u. So first is Marvin. So what the process what this statement does is it downloads all the dependencies. All the dependencies, the package requires Java, any other package or any other library for its support, it will download all those things. So here, if we are using on our local network, this will require at least 2 to 3 hours of download, and that may be more than 4 GB. Where if you are using on Google Cloud, it will take few seconds or few minutes to complete this process. So meanwhile, this process is completing of downloading all the repositories which are required. We shall note down all the steps that we have followed right now.
Domains also domains.
Hey, you tell Ra, then only I'll be knowing what is going on and all. You are hiding, then how can I judge the things? Huh?
So
When
in
the
our
comments
notes,
comes, you have
we
to
have
tell no steps.
started with the configuration.
Yes.
Jan Deshpande, Rajesh, and that's very deep Malak. She is my student.
Okay. So after configuration, what we have done, we have configured our database. So we'll again note down those steps.
Can you copy this and all? Photos of that? Huh? How many participants and all? You can see now. Live, sir. Why you?
Live है sir.
Huh? Live. Okay, sorry. Yeah. This is also.
So create database and okay. So I have done a creation of database also. Next is creating user and further process. So you have to enter the password, and then further you have to press exit. Okay, so you need to type exit on in that case, and allow the DSpace to enter the DSpace, and furthermore, so in that case you need to follow these steps. That is, allow the user to connect to the database, and this step need to be followed. So step is this, and this is what the theoretical overview. Now you need to restart the process and create the database here. So after exit, these steps are here. So you need to restart Postgres, and these are the steps we have followed right now. And after this, what we have done, we have created database and logged in using crypto.com. Crypt, that is, created a plugin out there for crypto. Create database and this. So this is how we have started. So now last thing that we have done is DSpace installation. Okay. So this is what the environment creation is all about. So next topic is DSpace compilation. So in DSpace compilation, we have first created a directory. Okay. Then downloaded DSpace from a specific URL. So I am just specifying the URL in the context here. So here the URL is also defined here. So this URL will be replaced by DSpace CRIS. In the current version, the DSpace I have given 6.3. After that, I have removed certain content from there. Okay, so I am showcasing the content also. So here the content is which need to be removed from form.xml. Here in build folder, this is the path which may change. Currently we are using 6.3, so it will be 6.3. If you are using 5.4, the path will change. only the name of this folder will change. So what you need to do is just press DSpace and press tab. So type DSpace and press tab. Automatically the folder will be showcased to you. Okay, so you need not remember all the names, so compiler will automatically do it. The operating system will automatically do it for you. So after this changes, what we have done, we have currently moved to the installation part. So I have done Marvin U package for downloading all. So the next step is moving to this folder, that is cd dspace target and this dspace installer, and press ANT fresh install. Now this folder will copy all the required compiled files to my which folder? DSpace folder. Currently I am in build folder. Okay. So it will copy all my required files to my DSpace folder. Okay. So this is just a path to copy paste. Okay, so I'm just first let's discuss the instructions. Okay, and then after starts the third phase, that is after this installation starts the third phase, that is installation of Tomcat. So install Tomcat. So what we have done for Tomcat, that we have created a jump to opt folder and downloaded the file from the server. Okay, so currently I've given a path of the latest version. I'm using right now is the 8th version. You can, I've also tested on this 9th version. So here and then tar file, that the command I was using for unzipping the file. So more after installation, let's start with the installation part and then parallelly do the Apache installation also. So here it says you have completed all the steps. Okay, and your build folder is ready. It is already been compiled with every other themes. Okay, so let's do the installation. Sudo and install part. So here the installation starts. So it is testing for your database configuration, testing databases, and copying all the files. So now everything has been tested. Your server is ready to run. Why? So installation is done. So let's check where the installation is done. So previously the DSpace folder was empty. I've created just a folder. So I'm doing cd/dspace. And let's see. After installation, it has these many folders: bin, config, export, handshaking, solr, web app, and all other folders that are being done. So this is my software. So DSpace software is being installed on my machine. So now I have to move on to the Apache part, that cd/opt. So the unzip was done. So this is my Tomcat folder. Okay. So moving on with the Tomcat part. So now what I will do, whenever Tomcat is used, we need to rename it as Apache. Okay. Or Tomcat, because system knows Tomcat. It does not know which version you are working upon. So I will just say, just rename 8.5.59 with Tomcat. Okay. So ls, so you will find only Tomcat folder here. Okay. So now I am able to start my Tomcat. So since I have just downloaded Tomcat, I have not installed it, I need to configure it. So I will just send the profile page. Profile means, likewise previously we were doing sudo etc postgres space star. So I have to develop the same functionality for my Tomcat also. Nano. So in profile page, I have to add two paths. कि सॉफ्टवेयर को तो पता चले कि मेरा सिस्टम में कौन से दो सॉफ्टवेयर आ गए हैं. Okay, so at the end of this file I will paste this, that Java is available at this folder and Tomcat is available at opt/tomcat. So likewise I have given a known alert to my system that these two softwares are available with this path. Okay, so Control X, yes, stop. Fine. So now I'm ready to copy paste all my files to my Tomcat. So I have to just start with the next step, that is अभी तक मैंने start and stop के functionalities नहीं बनाई थी. So I have to make a functionality called start and stop. This is an empty file currently, so I'm making my setup folder. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make start stop functionality to my folder. So here I have intimated all that I can do start, I can do stop, and I can restart. So whenever I will say Tomcat Tomcat space star, so it will start it. Tomcat space stop, so it will stop it. Otherwise, what will I have to do? I have to go to this path and execute this file. That is very unusual. So what we may do is we make this files so that I can. So let's check whether it is written or not. Yes, it is fine. It is working. Control X. So now let's see whether my Tomcat is started or not. So let's see sudo service Tomcat start. So let's see whether it is starting or not. So how to test it? Moving on to our Google Cloud. So here in this cloud, I need to know the IP. What is the IP of my new DSpace? That is this IP. Just jump here. Currently, let's see. 00. My server is running at 8080. What is this? This is just a sec. Okay. So moving on to this. So I have to start. Stop. So my Tomcat should be running. DSpace 219. Fine. So my Apache is up and running. So I can close all my tabs which are not required. Fine. So this is running. Now I have to upload. Only last step is remaining. My DSpace is installed. My Apache is installed. Only thing is my DSpace is not hosted it. Okay. So next step is I'm hosting or transferring the file of hosting to DSpace. So my files, let me showcase where the files are prepped. CD DSpace. So there's a folder called web apps, this folder. So this folder has all the files. Now these files need to be copied from here to Apache Tomcat. So Apache do also have a web app folder. We need to transfer this. So let's see CD web app. So web slash, I'm just tabbing it. So as soon as I press tab, so it auto completes the name. So ls. So these are various services provided by DSpace. So I will be using only GSP UI, OAI or SOLR. Rest all you may use further if you feel like, because currently we are not in current need of these all these services, so we can work upon this. So our next step is to copy these files to this Tomcat folder. So let's start with a sudo. So it is in DSpace UI. I have to copy it to where opt Tomcat web apps. So here it will be copy pasted. So it says CP, that is copy all files inside this folder to this folder. So next is JSPUI, and next is OAI, and SOLR. So these are prerequisite services for running this. Yeah. So this is running. So I just need to restart my Tomcat so that they will be launched. So it will take around a minute or two. Okay. So meanwhile, I will showcase you how to see what Tomcat is doing. Okay. So this is one of the important things that we need to know, that what Tomcat is doing behind the scene. Okay. So we do not know whether it is hanged, whether it is working or not. So we need to understand what it is doing. So there is a log file for Tomcat. So which is set so ls. So this folder, logs folder, the file will be there. Okay. So let's see. So TAIL F logs slash .sh. So this sh file is responsible for it. So this is how it has start. So this is working and it's still in process. So let's see our server whether it is working or not. So the URL will be the IP slash JSPUI. Let's see. So my DSpace is up and running. Only thing is I need to name it. Okay. So my DSpace is up and running. So I need to modify this content. And as soon as I start this, so here it should be Manipal University Jaipur. Manipal University Jaipur invites you for message. Now we are into this. So we'll change the configuration of it. So this is how we start with the basic view of my DSpace. Let's move on to this one. So Control Z I'll move on. So let's move to the DSpace installation path. So in DSpace, there's a configuration file. So ls, so we'll see configuration folder. Go to this config folder, cd config. Okay. Inside this, you have so dspace.cfg. Okay. So I have to just dspace.cfg. Okay. So I have to open this file. So in which file I will open? I will open in nano. Here's my file. What I have not meant is I have not made him know what is my university name. So my university name is okay. So my name is given here. My URL is set, driver is set, public, password, everything is set. If you want to connect to your email server, here you need to give the email username, password, and the Gmail IP. If you want that all the mails that are coming here or through DSpace will be coming to Gmail, in that case, just give your DSmail server here. For example, google.com has a smtv.google.com, your username, password, and your email ID, official email ID on which, and the port number will Google will provide you. So by this configuration, if someone sends you a mail on DSpace, it will be diverted to your Gmail. Okay. So Control X Y. So I have contained this. Next step that is last remaining is currently I have not created any user, because until unless I do have a user called admin, I cannot manage this portal. So the last step that uh, remains and which makes it incomplete right now, that is making a administrator port. So again, going to my DSpace folder, in DSpace there's a bin folder, as if we are in config folder. So in DSpace, just sudo DSpace bin and DSpace. This is a command, create administrator. This is all. Before that is the path. So it may take time. Yes. So it is asking your email ID. So my email ID is name, password DSpace. So coming to my portal, go here, my DSpace. So I am into my portal here. Okay. So going here in my administrator. Okay. So administrator tools are out here. Statistics, access control, contain, general setting. So edit news. The news that was coming out here. So top news I want to give edit. Okay. So rather than DSpace is live, so I'm saying welcome to Central Library. So here you can be as much innovative as you can. Okay. So you can write so here I have given a welcome message here. So save it. And if I'm going at home, welcome to Central Library Manipal University. So, okay. So welcome this. So likewise, I can make anything. Now this part. since you are at default position, now this part will be managed by DSpace itself. As soon as you include more and more content to this DSpace, it will automatically design all the layout as if I showcase for your Manipal University. It will showcase the same thing. Okay. Whereas if I'm talking about this you need to code yourself. Okay. You need to change this. Okay. So if I'm going to my administrator again, and let's say mm, second is setting, edit news. So sidebar news. So here I can change the sidebar news also. It is default, it is extremely. So here the whatsoever down below was coming out, you can change all those things also. The content can be changed here. Statistics will be here. So it currently you have not include any repository in this. So there is no repository. Okay, so edit pupil groups, content, and this. So let me showcase you one more thing, and then I will let you know last step so that you can enrich your support here. So plenty of time what happens is Apache will say the memory leak issue. Okay, so I will just showcase you one more thing, that how to tackle those issues. Okay, so there's a issue called memory leak. Okay, the same server will be the same. So let me come to your command. So I will just copy paste all the steps that I have followed so that I can share it with you. So there are certain issues that need to be tackled at your end. So I will be just listing few of them so that you can, using this guide, you can also make a pathway to overcome those issues. So I have installed DSpace, and then after installation, I have restarted everything. So this is what Apache was there. Then I have restarted it. One more thing is remaining, that is I have changed the renamed it from CD to Tomcat. So after this only routine nano environment variable, change a few things out here. So I have added this to the profile folder. Then I have changed few things in the edit scheme where I've started with the start and stop things. So those paths are also defined. So this is the file you need to copy, the red color file. That's why it is highlighted from my end. And last step that we need to do, apply the following terminal to make initialization of admin. So after this, you need to just click this and create the admin according to your need. Now this admin can further enrich and add few more folders and few more users in this, and with their different various responsibilities. So let me showcase one more thing, that how to work upon it. This is one thing is installation. Okay. So second part is how to work upon working DSpace and how to start with them. So now I'm showcasing how to work upon an existing DSpace. So if this is, for example, so here I'm just showcasing you one thing, that if I do have an existing library and you have done few things, now the thing is it automatically designs and makes the design for your view. It is holding up. I'm signing as an administrator. So, yeah. So first thing comes is after this you need to go to your administrator. Now let me show you some features. So here is the list of features that import metadata, batch import. Batch import is a new feature. Batch import allows you to include a zip file inside in zip file, single zip file. You can export 2000 to 5000 element of 5000 products or 5000 items in a single go. Okay, so it says just give me the zip file, which can be a zip file, which can be pub XML file. That means you can include publications from directly from resource publication website, crossref website, or either of XML files. If you have such files, you can directly give the URL and upload it in a single go, where just give the repository name. I want to push all this detail into PSD, new clipping, whichever you wish to make upon. So this is what new feature for CRIS is. One more thing. Okay. And coming to CRIS modules. So if I want to make another department, so let's say organization unit. Okay. So add organization unit. So this is what new will be there. So you will have view all organizations. So I'm just showcasing what I have done right now. So I have this organization in which these many sub organizations are there. Okay. So n number of departments I have created. So you can also create, either you can create it or export directly to what I want to organization unit. Yeah, directly export Excel. So you can export it and transfer. For example, I'm working on older version of CRIS and I want to transfer it. You can do in a single go. You can transfer the complete data. So if I have created organization units, okay. So for example, view all organization unit. Let me talk about this organization unit. So this is again organization unit. So let me showcase how to create an organization unit. CRIS model, organization unit, add. Let's say my organization name is Department of ABC. Okay. Director ABC, that is compulsory. So I think so the yes. So let me make any one of them as a department head. So I made them. So these red is compulsory. If you want to give description, you can give here. Welcome. Okay. So this is here. So currently I'm using it. Save it. Okay. My organization is here. So in this organization, now you need to add people. Okay, so currently only HOD has been added. Now you can add as soon as someone has added publication by this name, it will add to him. So edit pay and make it public. So I'm just deleting it for time being. So this is how we make it. So one more thing, let me showcase you. What are the various features? So going to publications, in research publications, I want to submit another one. Okay. One of the thing I've showcased is bulk pushing. So that is export. I can export bulk number of publications out here from. You can directly use Mendeley, you can use OneNote, you can use PubMed, you can use Scopus to directly transfer the data. I won't submit. This is the conventional way which comes. Now see here. Just give the title, year, and publication. It will do it for you. Okay. Otherwise, give him the PubMed ID. Let me showcase you. Let's search PubMed.